Hello, I'm Dara and welcome to my beef farm. Monday morning and I'm just on the way over to the paddock here to get in the cows and calves. I want to get them into the yard to take the nose paddles out of the weanlings. You might have seen me putting those in the calves last week as an aid to gently weaning the calves off the cows. So we're going to get them in, take the paddles out, see how the calves got on. I'll give you my verdict on them later on in the video. We'll also separate out the cows and calves, put the calves back to the field, put the cows in the shed. And later in the video then, I'm going to start on a new project there. So I hope you can stick around to see that. So anyway, we'll get straight into the video and I hope you enjoy it. I've just taken out the last few nose paddles out of the calves. So they're all still in them. None of the calves lost the paddle. There's 19 out and I have 6 to go. So 25 altogether. Bit of balling around, but you wouldn't mind that because you're in the yard sorting cattle. There's always going to be balling. So I'll get these last few down and get the paddles out of their nose and get them back to the grass. No. Now they're all out. And you definitely want to be taking them out. They're in 7 days since I put them in. And you definitely want to be taking them out there. They're bits of gunk and shite on them, I'd say, starting to irritate me a little bit. So definitely would live longer than 7 days. That's what people have been saying to me there. But I use the gate at the front of the crush as a dividing gate, so I let in the cows and check their numbers, and then they'll go left or right then. So 656. Two, three. They're the full of the crate coming through it now. So next cow is going back to grass. She's weaned. Next cow is going back to grass. Next one is weaned. Next one is weaned as well. This one is weaned as well. The one after. So that's it. We'll go through them like that until we have them all out. They're all separated out there now. So we'll get them back out to grass, and I suppose the next couple of days will tell all as to how successful the paddles were here. But I'll give my opinion on them anyway after a couple of days, and we'll see what we thought from them. So what's left in this group now is the later calves and their mothers. The in-calf heifers are there as well, and all the weanlings are there. Now all the nose paddles are washed. Old fairies coming in handy, but they're ready for the next batch of calves. There was a fair lot of crud on them and snot and stuff like that, so you couldn't not wash them and put them in the next calves. You could definitely be spreading respiratory diseases between calves or issues. So I have some Milton up there, and I'll throw them into it there, and they'll be good to go for the next number of bundle of calves. I have the cull cows in. Well, that Charlie's not belong to them now, but he shouldn't be there. But that brown lad is out of that black one. Now I've been feeding those cows meal there for the last month. We'll be on 6 or 7 kilos of meal. So I just want to get them weaned, and I want to put cows in and give them a last final push on there. Just give them a month there now without a calf, because I'm kind of half wondering, is the meal I'm giving them making them milk better? But yeah, they're still in fairly good order there, but just get the calves off them now and get them weaned. So I'm going to put paddles in those noses. These are actually going into the shed. I leave the calves on them, keep feeding the cows the meal, and I let the calves out then towards the end of the week there, and let them over with the calves we've already weaned, and keep pushing on these cows and get them ready there for the factory. That's good weight for a calf born on the 31st of March. He's out of a Belgian Blue, so he's after getting his last drop, so he can be weaned. So he's calf number 1000, born here on the farm, as you can see there. Well, I just put in his number there. He's getting 1.6 today. Now he has been getting meal, but super calf, in fairness. Contrast this calf then, born the 9th of April. He's 1001. He was an ex-calf born. That's his mother, and she wouldn't be a fantastic cow now to produce a calf. Mustn't have an already a weight in for that calf there. But anyway, big difference there. There's a difference of 70 kilos between, in 9 days, between two calves off the same bull, just off different cows. This is the big lad that's in there now. 421 kilos. That calf is a Charlie. He's out of a bull called Rocco, and he was born by cesarean. A big bone calf, and carried it through that big bone all the time. So I'll get him done now. And what are you at now, you might say to Dara? Well, I'm cutting out a shed for my brother-in-law. It's going to be a lean-to type shed. It's going over a new slasted tank. So I just have nearly all the pillars cut. I have to cut one more. So cutting the angle there. So when I cut the angle, then that'll make 2 pillars. So that's the handy thing about it. I got the steel ordered in the more or less in the lengths I want for the front and back pillar. So it's working out that way. Just have one more to cut in at the back, and then I have a spare piece of steel here then for making gussets and things like that. So yeah, that's the latest project I'm at there. I like this kind of work. Just finding time just to get stuck into it. But today now I'm going to get all the pillars cut, get them into the workshop, mark them out, see exactly what I need to do then, and then the next few days then we'll get welding. And we're welding on base plates, top plates, drilling holes, cleats, and all those sort of things. So I have all those pillars cut, and I have them in on the floor of the workshop. I've actually 2 pillars finished and have moved out again, and I have a roof truss in on the stand behind me there, and that one is also finished. It's slow enough on the first couple of pillars and on the first roof truss, because while I designed the shed, I'm not working off any CAD plans or any professional plans. I would have designed the shed and measured it on site myself, and then you take those drawings from theory and then you put them into practice here. From now on, I should be able to get a little bit faster. I had a good bit of prep work, and I'll just show you what I've done and where everything goes. So just here on the bench is a couple of plates. So again, I had to measure all them and drill them. So all those plates are going to be 100 by 100 millimeter, and so there's, I think every hole is going to be a plate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. plates to come out of that. This is a plate in itself, and that is for there on the roof truss. Now the roof truss is being bolted in to the front of the back pillar, if you know what I mean. And here is a section of gussets that I've made for the next roof truss when it comes in. So these are top plates I made, and they will go on top of the front pillar. So all that stuff kind of takes a bit of time to get measured up, and then you mark it out and you punch it and drill it. So all that stuff is ready now. These are the back pillars. So as I said, the roof truss is going to be bolted in to the front of them. That's the way I'm doing it. And then the other pillars, the longer pillars, then are the front pillars of the shed. So as I said, that's where that will be bolted on. There's no cleat on the back of that. The lowest cleat will be on the back pillar of the shed. And then I've all the cleats welded on. So this is a gable end roof truss. Roof truss then in the middle of the shed would have what we call double cleats. So you can buy those bigger plates with the 4 holes, or base plates, and then you have the single cleats that you can buy, and they're double cleats, and they're top plates then with 2 holes. So you can buy all that stuff there from the wholesaler, and it makes it a lot handier. So there is a plate there that I have welded on, and that's equivalent to what was on the table that I have to cut out of that longer plate. And there's 2 holes in for the front truss that will be bolted on. So that is kind of the go of it. So I just kind of have it roughly up on the whiteboard, and that's kind of what the shed is. And as you can see, this roof truss is bolted onto the front of this pillar, and there's going to be a cleat on the back pillar with your timber on it. So that'll give you a nice straight timber then for your gutter. Your back pillar then is on the base plates, and that'll be 7 inches on the ground, front and back. And your front pillar then is bolted up underneath, and then you have all your cleats down along the side. So it's a simple enough shed in theory, but there's a nice bit of work in it, just getting it prepared. So then there'll be a wall coming up 6 feet across there, and side sheeting then will come down, and it'll be all flashed off then as well. So I just have rough measurements then of the plate up on the board. So I just get in here into the workshop for a couple of hours when I've all my jobs done. It's usually after dinner when I get in here, and I'd like to get kind of 2 pillars done up in the evening time before I go home. I'm kind of working on it that way. I'm not a qualified welder, a qualified fabricator, a qualified carpenter. I have no trade. I'm a farmer by trade, but I've been welding since I'm 12, I'd say. And I have a keen interest in this fabrication. I have done some work over the years in a workshop, but as I said, never served me time. So I like all this stuff, and I'm self-taught, and I also watch YouTube videos and stuff like that, and had different techniques of how to do things. So while I'm not qualified, the shed won't fall down either. I just hope when we go to stand it that it'll go together the way I have it measured. So I'll say fingers crossed for that, because I don't want to be cutting this shed if it's wrong. Today is Wednesday. I took the paddles out of the calves on Monday, and I put the cows in here to the cubicle shed. So we'll see how we got on. So the cows are all in here in the yard, and I can honestly say there wasn't one ball out of any of the cows in here. They all came into their winter accommodation here in the cubicle shed, and they sat down as they normally do, and there hasn't been a word out of them since. So it's great to see cows so well settled. Now over there are the cull cows, and that fella there with his nose paddling. So they're not belong to this group. Good thing about the paddles as well and letting the cows back out to grass when the calves have the paddles in their noses, that they dried off out in the paddock. So when they've come in now, they literally have no milk and their teeth should be fairly well sealed up. So I'm hoping there'll be even less incidences of mastitis than there normally is. I wouldn't get many incidents of mastitis here anyway. All the cows have 4 teeth. Cows are probably coming to a stage anyway where they need to be dried off. The milk yield had really declined on them, so they dried up pretty easy. So I might go out to the paddock there now and we'll show you the calves. I'm just out here now with the remaining cows and calves that are not weaned, and the weaned weanlings, if that makes sense. So the calves that had the nose paddles in last week's video and that I would have took out at the beginning of this week's video, and we'll have a look through and see, can we pick them out or is there any balling going on. So I'm just after moving the cows and calves onto a fresh paddock. And that calf over there was weaned, that one is weaned, and that one is weaned. And they're settled. There's not one bit of stress on them. It's not anywhere to be seen. That Angus there is also weaned. My boy there is weaned as well. So I'd say that calf walking on there, that Charlie, that other Charlie over there. Grass is fairly lush now underneath them. It's probably making them that little bit looser. So I've done the normal thing that I always do, is I've moved the creep feeder and set up the wire off of that creep feeder. So they still have access to the best grass by going out through that creep gate, and they also can get a pick a meal, and they'll have access, as I said, to all the time to the best grass. So I can push the remaining cows a little bit harder to graze out the grass in this paddock. So these paddocks now are all going to be closed up now for the winter time. So these will be my first paddocks that will be grazed in the spring. It's a nice sheltery paddock. This one I have a good high ditch down along there, good hedgerow, and I have a roadway around that ditch as well. So it's easy to get cows in and out of this paddock if I even want to do grazing by daytime. So as you can see, the creep feeder tracks them over and pop in and out through the gate. There's a bundle of calves in the creep feeder, and that's it. So I don't give them ad lib. There's 50 kilos of meal put in that creep feeder daily, and there's 40 odd calves there. Now I know they don't all get a kilo each. Some might eat 2 kilos, but as you can see, they're happy to go off grazing and they'll come and go to it as they please. So my verdict on the paddles and my first year using them is they're a fantastic job. Now I suppose there's a few things. I didn't put the cows and the calves into the shed, so I didn't change their environment. I put the calves back out with the cows and calves that they were with, so I haven't changed anything that way. But just a fantastic job. They went in their nose, took them out on the 7th day, let the calves back to the field, put the cows in the shed, and there wasn't a ball out of any cow. Stress free, snot free, no pneumonia. Calves have just continued on as if they were never on a cow. So I'm very, very happy with them, and I will be using them again. Just to be clear, I wasn't asked by anyone to use these or to endorse them. As I said, my dad saw them on the paper and someone was saying they were a great job. I had seen them before and dismissed them because I thought these yokes are going to be too hard to put in. But with the handling system I have now, it was no bother putting them in. It's just like anything, you like to share the good things about farming and what works for you and what not, and what doesn't work for you. And if it helps other people what about it? So that's where I'm coming from anyway with this. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.